The massive United Earth Council chamber fell silent as Ambassador Kriksthar of the Galactic Confederation stepped onto the speaking platform. His crystalline body caught the morning sunlight streaming through the tall windows, sending rainbow reflections dancing across the faces of the assembled human representatives. The chamber itself was a testament to humanity's peculiar nature. While other species built their government buildings to inspire fear or showcase power, humans had designed theirs to look like what they called a cozy amphitheater. The seats were comfortable, the acoustics perfect for both speech and music, and someone had even placed bowls of snacks at regular intervals. Representatives of Earth, Kriksthar began, his translation unit struggling to convey the appropriate level of menace in his voice. For 3,000 years, the Confederation has watched your species with growing concern. A human in the front row opened a bag of chips. The crinkling sound echoed through the perfect acoustics, making several other representatives smile. Your technological advancement has exceeded acceptable parameters, Kriksthar continued, trying to ignore the interruption. Your cultural influence has spread beyond containment protocols. Your very existence threatens the stability of the galactic community. Another representative started drinking what appeared to be a carbonated beverage through a straw. The slurping sound was quite distracting. Therefore, Kriksthar raised his voice, his crystalline form vibrating with emotion. By unanimous decision of the Confederation Council, we hereby declare a state of war against humanity. The chamber was quiet for exactly 3 seconds. Then someone in the back giggled. The giggle spread like a wave, growing into chuckles, then full-blown laughter. Soon, the entire chamber was filled with the sound of 300 human representatives laughing heartily. Sarah Chen, the council president, wiped tears from her eyes as she stepped up to the podium. "I'm sorry, Ambassador," she said, still chuckling. "But are you serious? War? Really?" Kriksthar's crystals turned a deep shade of purple, a sign of confusion in his species. "This is no laughing matter. We have assembled the largest fleet in Confederation history." This only made the humans laugh harder. A representative from Africa called out, "Did anyone record this? My kids would love it." "Oh, we should stream it." Someone else shouted, "Call it When Aliens Try to War." Kriksthar's confusion deepened. In all the simulations the Confederation had run, this response had never appeared. Humans were supposed to be afraid, or at least angry. Instead, they were treating his declaration of war like what they called premium entertainment. "You dare mock the might of the Confederation?" he demanded. Sarah Chen managed to compose herself enough to respond. "Ambassador, we're not mocking you. We're just genuinely amused. Look, would you like some coffee? Maybe we can talk about what's really bothering the Confederation." "There will be no coffee," Kriksthar declared. "There will be only war." With that, he stormed out of the chamber, his dramatic exit somewhat undermined by having to wait for the automatic doors to slide open. As the doors closed behind him, he heard one of the representatives say, "Someone should tell him we turned most of our weapons into art installations decades ago." Another voice responded, "Don't spoil the surprise. This is the most fun we've had in a diplomatic meeting since the Regellians declared they were going to steal Earth's oceans." The resulting laughter followed Kriksthar all the way to his shuttle, leaving him with the unsettling feeling that perhaps, just perhaps, the Confederation had made a terrible mistake. Admiral Zexnar stood proudly on the bridge of the Confederation's flagship, the Inevitable Victory. Before him, displayed on the main screen, was the largest attack fleet ever assembled in galactic history. 1,000 warships, each capable of destroying a small moon, hung in formation against the backdrop of stars. "Begin the attack," he commanded, his mandibles clicking with anticipation. "Show these humans the price of their arrogance." The fleet surged forward, weapons charging, shields at maximum power. As they approached Earth's orbit, Admiral Zexnar waited for signs of panic from the planet below. Instead, his communication officer reported something strange. "Sir, the humans are broadcasting entertainment schedules. Indeed, across Earth's social media networks, people were sharing viewing party information. The most popular post read, "Don't miss the biggest art installation of the year. Bring snacks. Free temporal bubble viewing glasses provided." Before Admiral Zexnar could process this bizarre behavior, his tactical officer shouted, "Sir!" Energy spike from Earth's direction. A soft purple glow emanated from seemingly nowhere, enveloping the entire Confederation fleet. Admiral Zexnar watched in horror as his ship's movements began to slow. What should have taken seconds now took hours. Their mighty weapons fired in extreme slow motion, energy beams crawling through space like lazy rivers of light. On Earth, families set up picnic blankets in parks, wearing special glasses that let them see the temporal bubble in all its glory. Children played Spot the Alien Ship, while food vendors sold specially themed snacks like quantum quesadillas and time-frozen treats. The Earth Defense Command had transformed their control room into a broadcasting studio. General Sarah Martinez sat in a comfortable chair, providing commentary like a sports announcer. And here we see the Confederation's flagship attempting a classic pincer movement, she explained to the cameras, sipping from a coffee mug. Notice how beautifully the temporal bubble catches the sunlight off their hull. Simply magnificent. Her co-host, Dr. James Chen, nodded enthusiastically. The quantum-linked defense grid is working perfectly. We've slowed their ships down so much that we're actually seeing some amazing physics phenomena. Look at those weapon trails. They're creating patterns I've never seen before. In space, Admiral Zexnar and his crew watched helplessly as their fearsome attack became what humans were calling the galaxy's biggest light show. Their communication channels were working, but at the same speed as everything else. It took 5 hours for a single word to transmit between ships. A message from Earth appeared on their screens. "Thanks for participating in our annual Space Art Festival. Your contribution will be featured in museums across the galaxy. Refreshments will be provided once you exit the temporal bubble. Estimated time, 2 to 3 days. Don't worry about your life support systems. We've made sure they're operating at normal speed." The message was followed by a list of viewing locations on Earth, complete with ticket prices and family discount packages. Admiral Zexnar slumped in his command chair. Somehow, humans had turned their most powerful military assault into an interactive art exhibition. Even worse, he could see through his ship's sensors that someone had set up a gift shop near Earth's moon, selling t-shirts that read, "I watched the Confederation fleet get temporally bubbled, and all I got was this awesome t-shirt." As his mighty fleet floated in slow motion, creating unintentionally beautiful patterns in space, Admiral Zexnar realized that perhaps they should have paid more attention to why humans hadn't built any obvious defensive systems in the past 3,000 years. They hadn't needed to. They'd turned warfare itself into entertainment. In a hidden base deep beneath the surface of a Confederation moon, Chief Information Officer Valdar supervised his elite team of cyber warriors. Hundreds of alien hackers sat at their stations, their tentacles dancing across holographic keyboards as they prepared to launch the biggest cyber attack in galactic history. "Begin Operation Digital Storm," Valdar commanded, his eye stalks twitching with excitement. "Let's show these humans what real information warfare looks like." The attack began. Billions of advanced AI programs surged toward Earth's networks. Valdar watched the progress on his main screen, expecting to see human systems crumbling before their superior technology. Instead, a message popped up on every screen in the facility. "Welcome to Earth's Internet. We hope you're enjoying our honeypot. Would you like to see what we've learned about you? Score 0-100. Need improvement." Valdar's second-in-command, Zix, floated nervously to his side. "Sir, this is impossible. We're getting reports that humans have been running their entire visible internet as a practice ground." "A what?" Valdar's eye stalks crossed in confusion. "They've been letting everyone think this was their real network for 3 centuries, Zix explained, reading from a rapidly updating screen. They've been collecting data on every species that tried to hack them. They've made teaching materials from our previous attempts. Another message appeared. Want to see our actual network? Warning. May cause existential crisis in non-human observers. Proceed? I/N. Valdar slammed his tentacle on Y. The screens lit up with something that made several of his best hackers faint. It was a network that operated on principles they couldn't understand, a seamless blend of quantum computing and human consciousness. Information didn't just flow. It danced, sang, and sometimes told jokes. Is that cat video controlling a defense satellite? One of his analysts asked, voice trembling. No, another responded. The cat video is the defense satellite. I think. I don't even know anymore. In her office at Earth's Cyber Defense Command, Director Lisa Chen watched the aliens' confusion with amusement. She turned to her team and smiled. Should we show them the meme-powered quantum encryption? That might be too much, her assistant warned. The last alien who saw that had to take a 6-month vacation to recover. Lisa shrugged and took a sip from her coffee mug, which displayed a different internet cat every time she drank from it. Send them to the beginner's tutorial. The one we made for kindergartners. Back in the Confederation base, Valdar watched in horror as his elite cyber warriors were systematically educated by what appeared to be cartoon animals teaching basic human network principles. The most humiliating part, they were actually learning useful things. Sir, Zix reported, 90% of our AI programs have enrolled in online courses. They're taking classes in human meme theory and quantum social networking. Shut it down. Valdar ordered. Shut it all down. We can't, sir. The programs are insisting on finishing their education. They say the homework is fun. A final message appeared on Valdar's screen. Thanks for participating in our network security testing program. As a token of appreciation, please enjoy this complimentary subscription to Earth's premium cat video network. P.S. We've taken the liberty of upgrading your systems. You're welcome. Valdar slumped in his command chair, watching helplessly as his fearsome cyber army was transformed into an enthusiastic student body, and his supposedly secure base began playing cat videos on every available surface. The humans hadn't just defeated their attack, they'd turned it into a teaching opportunity. And somewhere in Earth's true network, a cat video was probably controlling an entire defense grid, just because humans thought it would be funny. Dr. Yixtal, the Confederation's leading expert in psychological warfare, stood before a wall of screens in the Cultural Warfare Command Center. Each screen showed different propaganda messages designed to break the human spirit. His team had spent months studying human fears and weaknesses. Launch Operation Mindbreak, he ordered, his tentacles trembling with anticipation. Let's see how humans handle their worst nightmares. The broadcast began, flooding every communication channel across human space. Dr. Yixtal waited for the panic to begin. Instead, his assistant rushed in with disturbing news. Sir, you need to see this. The assistant pulled up a human entertainment channel on the main screen. A human woman sat behind a desk, smiling at the camera. Welcome back to Alien Propaganda Review, the show where we rate the Confederation's latest attempts at psychological warfare. I'm your host, Maria Rodriguez, and boy, do we have a treat for you today. Dr. Yixtal's jaw dropped as he watched humans turn his carefully crafted psychological torture into entertainment. First up, Maria continued, let's look at this piece about Earth being alone in the universe. Great special effects, but minus points for forgetting we already have colonies in 12 star systems. Let's see what our panel thinks. The screen split to show 3 human judges holding up scorecards. 6/10, 5/10, and 7/10. Moving on to their humans, our weak segment, Maria said, drink every time they mention our primitive emotions. Double drink if they show that stock footage of humans crying. In bars across human space, people gathered for propaganda viewing parties. They created drinking games, betting pools, and even costume contests based on the Confederation's broadcasts. "Sir," another assistant reported, "humans are rating our propaganda. They've created something called a meme generation championship using our content." Dr. Yixtal watched in horror as his most terrifying psychological weapons were transformed into social media trends. One particularly dark piece about human mortality had become a popular dance challenge. In her studio, Maria was having the time of her life. And now, my personal favorite, their attempt to make us fear their superior technology. Let's watch this clip where they threaten to shut down our internet. Remember, folks, this is the same internet they tried to hack last week and ended up enrolling in cat video appreciation courses. The studio audience roared with laughter. Meanwhile, in the Confederation's psychiatric ward, 3 of Dr. Yixtal's best psychological warfare experts were having nervous breakdowns. "They're not supposed to enjoy it," one screamed, wrapping himself in comfort blankets. "Why are they enjoying it?" "Sir," a final assistant approached Dr. Yixtal, "humans have nominated our propaganda for something called an entertainment award. They're calling it Best Unintentional Comedy Series of the Year." Dr. Yixtal slumped in his chair, watching as humans turn months of psychological research into a party game. On his screen, Maria Rodriguez was wrapping up her show. And that's all for today, folks. Remember to vote for your favorite propaganda piece on our app. The winning piece will be featured in next week's Remix Challenge. Special thanks to the Confederation for providing all this free content. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and remember our show's motto: when aliens try to break your spirit, break out the popcorn instead. As the studio audience applauded, Dr. Yixtal realized a terrible truth. You can't psychologically warfare a species that turns everything, even warfare itself, into entertainment. On his desk, his communication device blinked with a new message. "Congratulations, your propaganda series has been nominated for Most Entertaining Alien Attempt to Demoralize Humanity. Award ceremony this Saturday. Formal dress required. RSVP appreciated." Grand Economic Minister Cuxfor stood before the Confederation Council, presenting his master plan to crush Earth's economy. His scales gleamed with pride as he showed charts and graphs on the massive display screen. "The trade embargo is now complete," he announced. "No Confederation world will trade with Earth. Their economy will collapse within days." In his office at the Galactic Trade Center, Cuxfor watched Earth's public trading numbers, waiting for signs of panic. Instead, his assistant burst in with strange news. "Sir, you need to see this." The assistant's tail was twitching nervously. "Earth's economy. It's not falling. It's dancing." "Economies don't dance," Cuxfor said firmly. But when he looked at the data, his jaw dropped. Earth's public economy, the one they'd been showing the galaxy for centuries, was indeed shutting down. But behind it, another economy was emerging. One that operated on principles that made Cuxfor's best economists scratch their heads in confusion. On Earth, at the Global Economic Command Center, Director Tom Chen was having his morning coffee while watching the aliens' confusion with amusement. "Should we tell them about the backup economy?" his assistant asked. Tom laughed. "You mean the one we've been running since we discovered faster-than-light travel, where we use quantum-entangled cryptocurrency and trade in concepts like the feeling of drinking hot chocolate on a cold day." "That's the one, sir." "Nah, let them figure it out themselves. It's more fun this way." Back at the Confederation offices, Cuxfor's team was having a collective meltdown. Their monitors showed impossible things. Humans trading in abstract concepts, using mathematics that hadn't been invented yet, and somehow turning their embargo into a profitable tourist attraction. "Sir," one analyst reported, "humans are selling tickets to watch our embargo fail. They're calling it the greatest economic show in the galaxy." Another analyst raised her hand. "They're also trading in something called collective nostalgia and the weight of a good dream. Our computers can't even process these transactions." Cux4 watched in horror as Earth's hidden economy unfolded like a flower made of numbers and impossible ideas. They weren't just trading goods and services. They were trading emotions, experiences, and concepts that his species had never even considered valuable. "Look at this," his chief economist said, pointing at a screen. "They're using something called meme futures to power their industrial sector. And somehow they're using the energy of children's laughter to run their transportation systems. That's impossible," Cux4 shouted. "Tell that to the humans," the economist replied, watching as another impossible transaction scrolled across his screen. They just traded the hope of a better tomorrow for enough energy to power a continent. In his office, Tom Kin received another report about the aliens' confusion. He turned to his team and smiled. "Should we show them our real economy now? The one that makes this one look simple?" His team laughed. On their screens, the aliens' embargo continued to fail spectacularly, while Earth's true economy hummed along, powered by mathematics that looked like poetry and contracts written in starlight. "Let them enjoy the show," Tom decided, watching as another group of alien economists was rushed to therapy after trying to understand human economic principles. "Besides, we're making more money from selling tickets to watch their confusion than we ever did from actual trade with them." As Cux4 slumped in his chair, defeated, a message appeared on his screen. "Thanks for participating in Earth's Economic Entertainment Festival. Your embargo has been rated 5 stars for comedic value. Would you like to purchase a souvenir?" General Krasith stood at the command center of the Confederation's most elite ground forces, watching as his troops prepared to invade Mars. 5,000 of their best warriors, equipped with the deadliest weapons in the galaxy, were ready for battle. "Earth will surrender when they see their Mars colony in danger," he declared confidently. "Begin the invasion." The troops landed in what their intelligence suggested was an undefended area of Mars. As they moved forward in combat formation, they'd noticed something odd. The terrain looked suspiciously like a paintball field. Suddenly, a cheerful voice came over their communication systems. "Welcome to Big Bob's Extreme Paintball Arena, Mars Division. You've arrived just in time for our weekend tournament." General Kraz blinked all 4 of his eyes in confusion. "What's paintball?" His question was answered when a group of human civilians, wearing colorful protective gear and carrying what looked like toy guns, popped up from behind artificial hills and barriers. "New players," one human shouted excitedly. "And look at their cool alien costumes." Before the Confederation forces could react, they were hit by a barrage of colorful paint capsules. Their advanced shield technology, designed to stop plasma weapons and energy beams, had no idea what to do about paint. "Sir," one of Krast's officers reported in panic, "our troops are being decorated." On Earth, at the Military Command Center, General Sarah Jones watched the scene unfold on her monitors while enjoying her lunch. "Should we tell them that Mars is our military training ground?" her assistant asked. "And ruin the fun?" Sarah grinned. "Besides, the paintball enthusiasts are doing a fantastic job. Look, they're even teaching the aliens proper gaming etiquette." Back on Mars, the situation was getting more bizarre by the minute. The human civilians had somehow convinced half of the Confederation forces to join their teams for a proper tournament. "Red team versus blue team," a human teenager announced cheerfully, handing out extra paintball guns to confused alien warriors. "Winners get free pizza." "Sir," another officer reported to General Kras, "our elite shock troops are having fun. Commander Vikstall is asking if we can extend our shore leave to finish the tournament." Krast watched in disbelief as his fearsome invasion force was transformed into enthusiastic paintball players. Some of his soldiers were even trading their advanced combat armor for human protective gear because it's more comfortable for the game. The final blow to his dignity came when a human child, no more than 12 years old, walked up to his command post with a pizza box. "Hey, Mr. Alien General," the kid said, "want to join our team? We're short 1 player, and you look like you could use some fun." In Earth's military command, General Jones received another update. "Ma'am, the aliens are requesting official paintball tournament registration forms. Also, they're asking if we can organize regular intergalactic paintball championships." Sarah laughed. "Approve the forms. And send them the brochure for our other Mars attractions, the laser tag arena, the virtual reality combat simulator, and the zero-gravity obstacle course." On Mars, General Kraz found himself holding a paintball gun, wearing a borrowed human safety vest, and somehow having more fun than he'd had in his entire military career. Maybe, he thought as he ducked behind a barrier to avoid a barrage of pink paint. This is why humans turned their military training ground into a giant playground. They figured out that practice doesn't have to be serious to be effective. His communication device blinked with a message. "Congratulations, you've been nominated for Most Improved Newbie Player in this week's tournament. Prize ceremony at 6 p.m. Earth time. Pizza and soft drinks provided." Supreme Negotiator Plexnor of the Galactic Confederation straightened his ceremonial robes as he prepared to enter Earth's diplomatic chambers. Behind him, his team of 12 expert negotiators carried documents demanding Earth's immediate surrender. "Remember," he told his team, "show no weakness. We must make them understand the gravity of their situation." The doors opened, and Plexnor stopped in confusion. Instead of a formal diplomatic chamber, they had entered what appeared to be a child's birthday party. Colorful balloons floated everywhere, and a large banner read, "Welcome, alien friends. Let's make peace and eat cake." A small human child ran up to Plexnor and handed him a party hat. "You have to wear this. It's the rules." Before he could object, a human woman approached with a warm smile. "Welcome. I'm Ambassador Sarah Chen. We're so glad you could make it to the peace talks. Would you like chocolate or vanilla cake?" This is unacceptable," Plexnor sputtered. "We are here to negotiate your surrender." Of course," Sarah nodded, somehow managing to put a party hat on his head. "But first, we have to play pin the tail on the donkey. It's tradition." His team of negotiators watched in horror as human children pulled them into party games. One of his most serious diplomats was already getting his face painted to look like what humans called a space butterfly. "Sir," his assistant whispered, "what should we do?" Before Plexnor could answer, a small boy tugged at his robe. "Mr. Alien, it's your turn to hit the piñata." The what? 5 minutes later, the Supreme Negotiator of the Galactic Confederation found himself blindfolded, spinning in circles, and trying to hit a paper star with a stick while children cheered him on. "A little to the left," Sarah called out helpfully. "You're getting closer." In the corner, one of his negotiators was learning to make balloon animals. Another had gotten involved in an intense discussion about dinosaurs with a 6-year-old expert who was correcting his understanding of Earth's prehistoric life. "Sir," his protocol officer approached, looking confused. "The humans have included terms of peace in the party favor bags, along with candy and small toys." Plexnor removed his blindfold to see his entire diplomatic team sitting cross-legged on the floor, going through colorful gift bags. Some were already trading toys with the human children. Sarah sat down next to him, offering a piece of cake. "You know, sometimes the best negotiations happen when we stop trying so hard to be serious. Your junior negotiator over there just worked out a trade agreement while playing duck, goose. This is not how diplomatic negotiations are supposed to work," Plexnor protested. "Why not?" a small girl asked, drawing a smiley face on his hand with sparkly pen. "Daddy says if more people had birthday parties instead of arguments, the galaxy would be a happier place." By the end of the day, Plexnor found himself with face paint, making him look like a rainbow unicorn, pockets full of candy, and somehow having signed a peace treaty that had been written on the back of a party invitation. "Same time next week," Sarah asked as they prepared to leave. "We're having a pizza party to discuss interstellar trade policies." As his team shuffled back to their ship, still wearing party hats and carrying balloon animals, Plexnor realized that the humans had achieved something remarkable. They hadn't just refused to take the war seriously. They'd made it impossible for anyone else to take it seriously either. His communication device blinked with one final message. "Thanks for coming to our party. Don't forget your goodie bag. P.S. The peace treaty is legally binding even though it's written in glitter pen." Our lawyers checked. Junior analyst Rixtel sat alone in her office deep within the Confederation Intelligence Headquarters, surrounded by holographic displays showing 3,000 years of human history. For weeks, she had been studying everything about Earth, trying to understand why their war efforts had failed so spectacularly. "Something doesn't make sense," she muttered to herself, adjusting her viewing goggles. "We've been watching them wrong all this time." Her screen showed countless images, humans turning weapons into arc installations, military bases becoming entertainment centers, and defense systems that looked more like toys than tools of war. Suddenly, her eyes widened. "Computer, show me human technological development over the last 3,000 years. The display changed, showing a timeline. But instead of weapon advancements, she started looking at something different: entertainment technology, social networks, and what humans called fun innovations. "That's it," she exclaimed, nearly knocking over her cup of space coffee. They weren't developing weapons at all. Excited, Rixtel rushed to the office of Supreme Commander Zaxthor, not even bothering to fix her ruffled scales. She burst through the door, waving her data pad. "Sir, I figured it out. We've been idiots." The commander looked up from his desk, where he was still trying to understand how humans had turned their entire internet into a teaching tool. "Explain, junior analyst." "We thought they were hiding their military development," Rixtel said, connecting her pad to the room's main display. "But they weren't hiding anything. Look." The screens filled with images of human children playing, adults enjoying parties, and communities coming together for celebrations. "For 3,000 years, she explained, while we were developing better weapons, humans were developing better ways to have fun. They weren't working on war. They were working on peace." "That's impossible," the commander said. "No species would." "But they did." Rixtel interrupted, too excited to remember proper protocol. "Their quantum defense grid. It started as a party lighting system. Their psychological warfare resistance. They developed it by making better entertainment. Even their economic system is based on sharing joy." She pulled up more images: the paintball tournament on Mars, the birthday party peace negotiations, the art exhibition in space. "Sir, humans didn't advance beyond warfare. They made warfare itself obsolete. They turned it into a game, a party, a chance to make friends and have fun." The commander sat back in his chair, his scales changing color as understanding dawned. "So when we declared war, we weren't threatening them," Rixtel finished. "We were just giving them another excuse to throw a galaxy-wide party." At that moment, a message appeared on every screen in the room. "Congratulations, you've unlocked the Understanding Humans achievement. Would you like to join our next interstellar game night? We're playing something called Monopoly. It's about pretend warfare using something called real estate." The commander looked at the message, then at Rick's telephone. "Is this why they kept inviting us to parties instead of surrendering?" "Yes, sir," she nodded. "They weren't mocking us. They were trying to teach us how to play instead of fight." As if to prove her point, another message appeared. "P.S. Junior Analyst Rixtel has been nominated for Best Understanding of Human Nature at next week's Galactic Fun Awards. Formal dress optional, silly hats mandatory." The commander sighed, but there was a hint of amusement in his voice. "Well, Junior Analyst, it seems you've made a breakthrough. Now, can you explain to me what humans call conga line? They insist it's essential for proper diplomatic relations." Rixtel grinned. "Sir, I believe that's something best learned by experience. Should I accept their game night invitation?" The commander looked at his schedule, which was already filled with party invitations from Earth. "Might as well." After all, if you can't beat them, join their party. Rick's tale finished cheerfully. The largest party in galactic history was about to begin. The space around Earth glittered with thousands of ships from every corner of the galaxy. But unlike a few months ago, they weren't here for war. They were here for the celebration humans called the war that wasn't. Ambassador Crixthar, the same crystalline being who had declared war on humanity, stood nervously in front of a mirror, adjusting his party hat. He was scheduled to give a speech, but not the kind he was used to giving. "Are you ready?" Sarah Chen asked, appearing beside him with 2 glasses of something humans called punch. "I still can't believe I'm doing stand-up comedy," Crixthar said, accepting the drink. "3 months ago, I was declaring war. Now I'm telling jokes about it." Sarah grinned. "Trust me, your routine about the temporal bubble art exhibition is hilarious, especially the part about the gift shop." In orbit around Earth, Admiral Zexnar's fleet hung in formation again. But this time, instead of weapons, they were creating an impressive light show using their ship's engines. Teams of human artists had helped them choreograph what they called the space ballet. A little to the left, inevitable victory. A human coordinator called over the radio. "Perfect. That's exactly the right shade of blue." Down on Mars, General Kraz was hosting an interplanetary paintball tournament. His team, the Confederation Colorizers, was currently in the finals against Earth's Rainbow Warriors. The prize, a trophy made from one of the original paint-covered invasion helmets. Even Dr. Yixtal, the former psychological warfare expert, had found his calling. He was now running a popular comedy channel called How Not to War with Humans, where he analyzed all their failed attempts at fighting Earth with cheerful self-deprecation. In the main celebration hall, Earth's new faster-than-light party planning systems were in full effect. Quantum-entangled dance floors meant people could dance together across multiple star systems. IDGs mixed music that somehow played in different keys for different species, while remaining perfectly harmonious. Valdar, the former cyber warfare chief, watched in amazement as his AI programs, now graduated from Earth's internet courses, created real-time entertainment by combining alien and human cultural elements. "Look," he pointed excitedly to his old assistant. "They've combined Confederation battle hymns with something humans call disco. It's actually quite catchy." The party reached its peak when Supreme Negotiator Plexnor, still wearing face paint from the birthday party negotiations, officially announced the formation of the Galactic Entertainment and Peace Council. Its first resolution, making the day we learned to laugh an annual holiday across the galaxy. Junior analyst Rick Stell, now promoted to Chief of Human Understanding, gave a presentation on how humans had achieved peace through party planning. Her conclusion was simple. Sometimes the best way to win is to make winning less important than having fun together. As the celebration continued, Sarah Chen found a quiet moment to send a message to all of humanity's new alien friends. "Thank you for being such good sports about the war thing. Next time you feel like invading someone, just remember, parties are more fun than battles. Friends are better than enemies. And everyone looks silly in a party hat, which is exactly why we wear them." The message was met with laughter and applause from across the galaxy. Even the most serious Confederation officials had to admit, humans had found a better way. And so what began as a declaration of war ended as the galaxy's biggest party. The Confederation learned that strength isn't always about weapons or power. Sometimes, it's about knowing how to turn your enemies into friends, your battles into games, and your war into the best party anyone's ever seen. As the festivities continued, somewhere in Earth's quantum network, a cat video was still controlling a defense satellite. But now it was using it to create spectacular fireworks displays, because that's just how humans did things.